Hey guys and girls, and welcome to another pickup video. Alright, it's been a while since I recorded my last pickup video. I think that was back in September time. I was going to record one in October, but then I remembered that the London gaming market was in November and I was actually able to attend this one. So instead of making two short videos, I decided to hold off a bit and make one bumper video, although I didn't really intend to hold off for this long, but things got in the way. However, with that said, I'm going to show off what I got from the gaming market first, and then all the other bits and pieces that I picked up beforehand. So first off, we've got ourselves a set of 4 PlayStation 1 demos, and we got one that's got Gran Turismo on the front there, and it also has Bomberman World, Colin McRae World Rally Death Trap Dungeon, Dead or Alive, WCW Nitro Gravitation, which is the Net Neurosi game on here, War Games, and Klonoa. On this one, I quite liked Death Trap Dungeon and Klonoa, even though I've already played the demo of Klonoa on another disc. Yeah, but Death Trap Dungeon, that is really hard to say. It was alright actually. I mean, I had to get used to the PlayStation style controls. The controls are similar to a Croc and what have you. But yeah, it's a pretty good demo. So I may get hold of that sometime. Gran Turismo I did want to play, but that wasn't able to load on this demo for whatever reason. And Bomberman World it's alright. It's the isometric attempt that Hudson attempted, yes. And it's not too bad, but isometric view didn't quite work. Next up is the demo with Michael Owen's World League Soccer 1999. I'm not overly keen on football, so I just let that slip me by. I don't think I've played this one yet, so this one's got Roll Cage, Rival Schools, which I've already got. Roll Cage, I haven't played yet. Akuji the Heartless, Wild 9, which I must emphasise at this point is an absolutely fantastic game. I don't need a demo to play to work out that, even though I think I actually played the demo in order to figure out that Wild 9 was an amazing game. But yeah, Wild 9 is absolutely amazing. Go hunt that down. It's probably cheap as you like. So yeah, it's got Pool Shark, demo for Metal Gear Solid. And the Net Neurosi game is Total Soccer, which looks quite similar to Sensible Soccer. So there's that one. Next up, I spoke of this demo disc already. That is Ridge Racer Type 4. And so I remember hacking into the Ridge Racer 4 demo and freezing the clock, and just playing the full length of the track on that. And this was the demo that actually got me into the Ridge series to begin with, because I played Ridge 1 and 2, or rather Revolution, not 2. But I didn't really get into them. I didn't even bother with Ridge Racer. But the demo for Ridge Racer Type 4, that got me into it. And it's also got Gex, Deep Cover Gecko, R-Type Delta, Actual Ice Hockey, 2, Pro Pinball, Big Race USA. I can't remember if I've played that or not. I've played Time Shock, and I think I've got Time Shock as well, but not Big Race USA. Pandora's Box, which is this disc's Net Neurosi game. Typhoon, and Swing. So they look interesting enough. I haven't got around to playing this demo again, because I have played this once before. And it's got a Tekken 3 video, which I'm assuming is the same video that was on the Tekken 3 exclusive demo disc, which showcases the London tournament at the time, which Ryan Hart won. Surprise, surprise. And lastly, we've got a demo disc for Gran Turismo 2, Tomb Raider The Last Revelation, and Spyro 2. Gran Turismo 2 I've already got. I think I showed that off in a previous video before, so I got it from a charity shop, dirt cheap. Tomb Raider I never really got into back in the day, and I really couldn't get into Spyro either, so yeah, that's those 3. It's also got Kingsley's Adventure. In fact, I think this is the one that this is the disc that I'm currently going through. Kingsley's Adventure so far is looking pretty good at the minute. I may pick up a copy of that. do Mission Impossible. I haven't played that yet. Fighting Force 2. Yeah, I've gone through that as well. I think that's alright as well. I can get into Fighting Force 2. Championship Motocross, which is pretty good because I like my motorbike games anyway. Destriga, I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I probably won't pick that up anytime soon. And Killer Loop, which I haven't played just yet. I don't think this has got any Net Eurasi games on it. Oh, well, that's a shame. Apparently it's got Millennium Soldier on here as well. So yeah, that's the 4 demo discs that I got. Right, next up is a Master System game. Now this is a game I used to own back in the day, and I don't know what happened to my original copy. I think it just got lost in transition from moving, as certain things are known to do, and that is Mortal Kombat. Oh yes. I've been waiting for a long time to get hold of this again, and I'm quite pleased I got a copy of it. And it was a reasonable price, and it's in very good condition as well. We've got the back there, you know, it pretty much it looks the part versus the arcade version, but even back in the day, I'm not looking back on this with rose-tinted glasses. I knew this back in the day. It does play a bit shonky versus even the Mega Drive and the arcade versions, and even the SNES version as well. I'm not going to leave that out. But you know, it's okay for a Master System beat 'em up game. I mean, you can see the technical limitations on it, but all in all, you know, I still had a lot of fun on it. I mean, it was the only version I could have owned at the time, because I don't recollect having a Mega Drive at that point. I think I only had my Master System at the time. But yeah, the manual and the cartridge, they're in pretty good condition. You can see, there we are. It's pretty much a monochrome effort there. But you know, the cartridge is definitely a lot better than the usual red and white checkered background. Well, not really checkered, just grid scheme at the time. I'll get my words out eventually. Where's my drink? There's my drinks down there. Sorry about that, guys. Right, so that's that. Mortal Kombat for the Master System. Next up, this is a game I've been after for quite some considerable time, but every time I see it on like eBay and stuff like that, it's always at a price that I'm not kind of willing to pay. But I found it at the gaming market, reasonable price, and that is Uni Rally, also known as Uni Racers, if I recall. Yeah, I mean, the box itself is a bit it's a bit warm, but it's not too bad, you know. It's, all things considering, it's still pretty much in one piece, you know. It's not bent or out of shape or anything like that. And yeah, I remember playing this game back in the day. I never actually owned this, but I borrowed it off a friend of mine, and I think it's actually really cool. The only issue with this this copy that I got is that it has no instruction manual, but you know, there's pretty much, you can find cheap instruction manuals on eBay, so I'm not too worried about that, and the combined price will still make this quite reasonable. You can say we've got the cartridge right there. The cool thing about this is that it comes with a little map poster. So it doesn't have all the maps on it, but what it is, it's actually not too bad. We'll just sit back a bit, and there we go. It's pretty cool, nice little neat addition there. It's kind of sad that those sort of things don't happen too much nowadays, but you know, got to save on paper. So there we go. That's Uni Rally. Quite a fun little game. So I'm going to put the discs back down here just so they're not in the way. Right, next up, I have the Super Game Boy. Now this, if I recall, I think I put the price to one side somewhere actually. Excuse me, there we are, look. This was £12, and I saw the PAL versions of the Super Game Boy going for about 25, something like that. And I've already got a PAL Super Game Boy, but if I attempt to play that on my Super Famicom, first of all I need to put it in the Action Replay, which is, you know, an effort in itself, because you try and load a game, well, off of my one anyway, sometimes you've got to switch it on and off, on and off, on and off again, because it's quite loose. So there's that. And if you do get it successfully to run, you get little artifacts, little lines across the game, which don't really detract from the gameplay that much, but just from the visual element, it's a little off-putting. So I decided to get the Super Famicom version simply for convenience, and so I don't have spotty lines everywhere. But this is pretty much complete. And there's the unit there, pretty neat, and it's got a very, very nice card there detailing the on-screen stuff that you can do, the borders, the colouring schemes, and the god knows what else you can do in it. And there's the other side as well, and of course the instruction manual, which is really nice. It's in colour. It's a little worn, but you know what? I'm not really surprised. Yeah, it's actually just an example of a few pages right there. Oh, it's got some codes, some code spaces here, which I suppose is for the for your custom borders and backgrounds and God knows what else. So yeah, it's actually pretty neat. There's one more spread there. There we go. So there we go. That's the Super Game Boy. Quite a reasonable price, and you know, it's not too bad. I mean, I really wanted the Super Game Boy 2, and I'm almost certain I saw one at the market, but when time came around, I was trying my best to find it, and I was like, oh, couldn't find it. So I assumed that someone had already bought it. So I was like, you know, it's fine. You know, I'll have the Super Game Boy. I mean, the only thing I wanted the Super Game Boy 2 for was obviously the correct clock speed and the link cable socket, you know, which the Super Game Boy lacks. But you know what? It's fine. The Super Game Boy is sufficient enough. Right, next up we've got a PlayStation game and a Saturn game. I'll show off the Saturn game first, and that is Shin Theme Park. Now this is an interesting version of Theme Park. This doesn't get spoken about all that often. This is essentially still the same game as the original Theme Park. In fact, if I recall, the original Theme Park did come out in Japan, but this is more of a localized version. It's got like different redrawn sprites on it, and I think it has different types of rides on it as well. So it's more catered to the Japanese market. So we've got a disc right there. And a really, really nice instruction booklet as well. I mean, this booklet is quite fat. And at the minute, whilst I'm playing this, I'm going through, you could say, a lengthy translation effort with it, just so I can play it a little bit more effectively. I mean, back in the day, if I wanted to try and translate stuff within the Japanese games, I was actually just writing the books, which is which kind of devalues the books a little bit, but you know, it's fine, you know. See, we've got ourselves an example down here, I think, in the bottom left-hand corner of like differences in the Western and Japanese version. So yeah, that's we've got ourselves all these funky little icons as well. I can't remember how many of these are present in the Western version, but yeah, Shin Theme Park. I mean, it's essentially the same as original Theme Park, but obviously catered for the Japanese market. And if you're quite proficient with Japanese, you'll probably have a fun time with this, or maybe not too proficient with Japanese, but if you're really proficient with the original version of Theme Park, you might have a blast on this as well. Right, next up is the PlayStation game, and this is a series that I've played for a long time, and that is Arkanoid Returns. Arkanoid is my childhood game. It's one of my favourite franchises, and if I ever get a chance to play it, I will. I often thought about getting Arkanoid Returns ages ago, but I never really got round to it. And then I saw this. I think it was on Console Passion, actually. Yeah, so it was the typical PlayStation disc with a typical Japanese PlayStation disc, where you tend to use one or two colours for the decoration, but that's about it. Yeah, I always play Arkanoid whenever I get the chance. We've got an advert there for Space Invaders on the PlayStation. That's always fun. And that's what I like about Japanese booklets, actually. They just go out of their way just to make it a little bit more special. I like that. And that's pretty much about it. You can get Time Gal on the PlayStation. I didn't know that. yeah, I mean, Arkanoid is pretty simplistic enough. I mean, if you've ever played any of the other Bat and Ball games, particularly Breakout, then you know what to expect from Arkanoid. So, yeah, Arkanoid Returns. If I recall, that's actually the 4th game in the series, following Arkanoid for the SNES. If I remember right, that was It Again. So yeah, that's that for the other PlayStation. Next up, we've got ourselves a couple of Famicom games, which I denied about before, but I thought to myself, fuck it, you know, I'm probably never going to see these again. So, first game is Arkanoid. It's a port of the original Arkanoid from the arcade, and I do like the snazzy little box that it comes in, and it's pretty much I think it's pretty much a faithful port of the arcade version. And so, of course, what I like about this is, we just open up the box here. If I can open up the box, the way it's designed kind of makes it a bit difficult. So not only does it come with the game, it also comes with this nifty Arkanoid controller as well, with a nice little button here, and a nice little dial here, which is what most Arkanoid arcade machines came with, especially the sit-down variants. And of course, got the cartridge right here, which is very, very nice, very typical Famicom type cartridge. And of course, we got the instruction booklet as well, very small and very thin, but then again, Arkanoid doesn't really take much explanation. You see, you got your typical power-up system going on there. So yeah, it's a pretty decent conversion of the original arcade, and the analog controller definitely makes it a lot easier to play. I mean, you can play it with the regular Famicom controller, but you want true analog control for a game like Arkanoid, because the ball goes faster and faster, and you want to be able to control that paddle as fast as possible. So yeah, that's Arkanoid. Next up, second Famicom game, Arkanoid 2. I love Arkanoid. There's no doubt about that. I love Arkanoid. So yeah, this is another Famicom port of Arkanoid Revenge of Do, or just simply Arkanoid 2, as it says on the box there. Now, I like the box art on this. It's quite snazzy. And of course, we've got a couple of bits and pieces going on the back there. And much like the original arcade Famicom version, it comes with its very own paddle controller, again with a dial. And I don't know what this bit down here in the middle is. I mean, I've taken it off, and it's got a component underneath which looks like you can alter with a screwdriver, give or take. And one thing I like about this controller is you can actually plug another one into the top of it and have 2 player sessions on Arkanoid 2. You can either play versus, or I think you can do co-op. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let's pop that there for a second. But yeah, the cartridge, again, pretty standard cartridge fare, and the book, whilst ever so slightly thicker, is pretty much the same. There we go. Pretty standard there. One thing I'm not quite sure why they've done it on this version, but at the beginning of this game, you have to fight Do at the very start, the boss fight, which I think was ported over from Arkanoid 1, but I think it was simplified. You know, this is what happened in the last game, blah blah blah. The mighty Vaus defeated Do, and then once you defeat Do, then you start the game proper from the first proper level of Arkanoid, which was a bit weird because I don't recall any other version of Arkanoid 2 doing that. So that's that. In fact, that's actually everything from the London gaming market. So yeah, that's pretty much a nice haul there. Didn't spend a great deal of money because, what I normally do at the gaming market is I go around the whole thing once, make a mental note of what I might like and what I do want, and just take it, leave it there, and then just go from there. So that's that. Put them down there so they're not in the way. Right. Next up, we've got what I've just picked up over the course of the last couple of months or so. First up, we've got a couple of PlayStation 4 games, and the first one is Puyo Puyo Tetris. Now, I love Puyo Puyo, and everybody loves Tetris, let's be honest. So the combination of both is initially quite curious, but turns out that it actually works. I'm not sure how I feel about this just yet. I mean, I played it a few times, and it seems like the default difficulty is just one step above normal, because first time I played it, I got my ass handed to me, and I was like, okay, I'm normally quite good at Puyo Puyo, and Tetris is pretty cool. So I knocked it down once, one difficulty, I think it was back down to normal, and I gave it another go. And it took a while to get used to the mechanics, because the mode that I played, you start off with your Puyo beans and you build up your combos and what have you, and then the Tetris pieces come falling down, which then when they come into contact with the Puyo beans, they eliminate them, they go right through them. And I didn't realise it at the time, but once the Tetrominoes hit another block, or the very bottom of the game field, the Puyo beans that they went through re-emerged from the top of the field. And initially I was like, where the fuck are these extra beans coming from? Because I didn't quite twig. But yeah, I think the jury's still out on this one at the minute, but I think it may have the potential to be pretty good. So that's that, Puyo Puyo Tetris. Next up is a game I've got already, but I've bought it on PS4 simply for convenience, and this was quite cheap when I found it, so that is Grand Theft Auto 5. I've got this purely just to play it online. I've only played the first mission, or the first couple of missions in the story mode, because as good as GTA 5 is, I don't really have the inclination to go back to the single player campaign, as opposed to Grand Theft Auto 4, which I think I've played the single player campaign about 7 times now, give or take. Yeah, there's just no draw in Grand Theft Auto 5 for me to keep playing the single player campaign, but the online multiplayer, it's been a while actually since I last played it on the Xbox 360 until I got this version, and they've updated it so much since then, and there's just a lot you can do, and obviously it comes with the map and this rather pathetic excuse for an instruction manual. So yeah, that's that, Grand Theft Auto 5, and you know, I'm having a blast on the online at the minute, so that's that. Right, next up, brace yourselves guys, because I got myself a couple of Wii U games. That's never going to get old. Right, first up, I bought this actually last week or so, give or take. And it was for a price that I told myself I was not going to pay until it hit beneath a certain price. And that was Super Mario 3D World. I haven't had the opportunity to play this properly yet. I've played the demo of it back in 2013 for it. If I remember rightly, I played the demo at the MCM Expo at the London XL Centre, and I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't want to pay like a premium for this game, because there was other Wii U games that I just wanted to play that I thought, you know, I don't really need another Mario game in my life right now. But yeah, I always told myself I was not going to pay any more than £20 for this game, and when I saw this for 18 quid I was like, yep, I'm having it. There we are, Super Mario 3D World. I haven't had a chance to look through it properly yet. It's got a nice fuzzy disc going on over there, and it's got that pathetic excuse for instructions. I mean, it tells you everything you need to know, I suppose, but meh, it is what it is. And it's got its Club Nintendo pin, which is next to useless now. In fact, it's not even next to useless, it is useless. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to play this through properly yet, but when I do, I'll probably come back and say my opinions on that. So, Super Mario 3D World, I mean, if it's anything like 3D Land, then it's probably bound to be very good. I mean, most Mario games, if not all of them, well, all of the mainline Mario games, I should say, they play fine, they're functional, there's, you know, there's little to nothing wrong with them, really, but, yeah, just so much Mario you can cope with at any one time. Right, next up is a couple of PlayStation 2 games. First one is Resident Evil. I don't know why I keep rolling my R's. Resident Evil Outbreak File 2. Now, I've not played this one yet, but I have played File 1, or shall we just say Resident Evil Outbreak 1, whichever. So if this is going to be anything like File 1, then it's probably bound to be quite good. I mean, I'm not particularly good at File 1 because every time I get bitten I just gradually get infected with the T-virus and then die. File 2, Outbreak File 2, I'm mixing up my words here. Yeah, so it's going to be, if it's essentially more of the same, then that's probably not going to be a bad thing. You see, we got ourselves, there we are, yeah, pretty much incomplete. It is complete, not incomplete. The book, pretty standard if you ask me. We've got this really nice pamphlet here with Capcom releases. Wow. There's that. How many of these games I got? Resident Evil 4, just got Outbreak File 2. Devil May Cry 3 I've got, haven't played. Beautiful Joe 2 I've got, haven't played. Yeah, Darkstalkers Chronicle. I've not really played much of the Darkstalkers series. And look at this. You can get yourself the Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 strategy guide. Oh yes. Okay then. So there we go. Outbreak File 2. Haven't played it, but if it's like File 1, then it's bound to be pretty good. Right, next up, this is a game which I probably paid too much money for, given what it is, but I thought I'd give it a go anyway, and that is Driver 3, £2. If I recall, I think the Xbox version was like £4 or something like that, because that's what it tends to be with the Xbox versus PlayStation 2. And I know full well that there are things wrong with this game. In fact, it was actually Larry Bundy Jr.'s video which got this game to my attention. I mean, I was aware of Driver 3 anyway, but I wasn't aware of how bad it was until I saw Larry's video. So I thought I'd go hunt myself a copy of this, and I've only played through the first mission so far, so I haven't actually experienced any serious glitches on my own just yet, but you know, there's time. Right, next up is the next Wii U game. Actually, I really should have followed that up with the with Mario 3D Land, but unfortunately, that's just the way that they were piled up. And that is Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. Now, I've already got Bayonetta for the Xbox 360, but I haven't played it yet. If I recall, I think I got this quite cheap. I think this was £20, something like that. Definitely somewhere in that region. And I played the demo for Bayonetta 2, and I thought, you know, it was pretty good. So, saw this for as cheap as it was, and I was like, I'm not going to pass that up. Of course, I do like the box. The box is pretty much in good enough condition. And of course, there's Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2. So I'm kind of looking forward to like getting stuck into these games, because in fact, I think I may have even played the demo for Bayonetta 1 on Xbox. I'm pretty certain of it. But yeah, Bayonetta 1 and 2, haven't played them yet, so well, not properly anyway, so I'm kind of looking forward to playing them. Right, next up is another Sega Saturn game, excuse me, and that is Soviet Strike. Now, this is actually a really, first of all, it's actually a really nice box. It's a proper plastic box, you know, pretty much akin to a videotape box. Let's open it up. Very nice disc, and really fat instruction booklet. And yeah, I got this from CEX for a £5, so it weren't too bad. Pretty cheap for a Sega Saturn game. I don't think many people rate this version of Soviet Strike that much, but then again, I have no idea. Yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to, especially when you've just come from the 2D Strike games on the Mega Drive, because I'm currently playing through Jungle Strike at the moment, trying to complete that, and so going straight from that to Soviet Strike, it's a bit of it's one hell of a transition, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. I mean, once I start getting into this properly, then I can make a decision on my own, but for the time being, yeah, Soviet Strike doesn't seem to be too bad. Right, next up is a PC game, and this is a game that I wanted a different version for, but you know, considering the situation surrounding it, it was going to be quite difficult. And that is Night Trap. Oh yes, I got this from Limited Run Games. I initially wanted the PS4 version, but that pretty much sold out straight away. I initially wanted the special edition PC version, but that didn't happen. That sold out pretty quickly. Then I attempted to get the standard PS4 version. Again, that sold out quite quickly. The PC version, on the other hand, it took days to sell out. So I was like, alright, fair enough, I'll get the PC version, because this was due to ship later on, shortly after the PlayStation 4 version, if I recall. Memory's not that good as far as its postage is concerned. But to fill the void in the meantime, you also got a free Steam key for it. So I've got both the physical version and the Steam version of it. Although at the minute I don't play it that much because there's a bit of stuttering going on with the as far as the sound is concerned. The video quality is absolutely fine. It's just when you play it, it just goes like it's kind of weird. And of course, it comes with a few little goodies. We've got a little Night Trap collector's shiny card. Now that's shininess. And we've got the Night Trap disc itself, and that's a really reflective reflective case. So let me just take that out quickly. Yeah, we've got the cover there, which is interchangeable, whichever you prefer. I prefer the darker one as opposed to the red one. So it reminds me of the 32X version. And of course, you got yourself the little disc as well. So there's that. Very shiny case. Got a limited run sticker. Okay. We've got ourselves a really nice Night Trap poster. I'll just open it out a little bit here. Unfortunately, it's only one-sided, so it's got the artwork from the original game. Well, a redone version of the artwork from the original game, anyway. So there's that Night Trap. And I find playing this version actually a lot better than playing all the other versions, because first of all, the video quality is actually perfect. It's not like all grainy and dithery like the previous versions of Night Trap. And the usage of the mouse to flick between all the rooms is actually really good, which I think you could do on the original PC version anyway. So yeah, on the whole, I quite like the new PC version of Night Trap. Right, next up, I've got a couple more things left to go. First one is something I'm surprised I didn't show off earlier. In fact, I had to go through a couple of my older videos to make sure that I didn't show it off. But that is the Sonic Mania Data Discs vinyl. Oh yeah, I pre-ordered this the first moment I got, because like a lot of pretty cool vinyl, this was bound to sell out, and it has sold out. I don't know if Data Discs has reissued it, but in the meantime, as far as I'm aware, it's sold out. And it's got a really nice, as you can probably tell, it's got a really nice shiny reflective cover. And of course, the tracks on it, they don't have any of the remixed tracks from Sonic 1 through to 3 and Knuckles, but instead it has all the original tracks on it. So you got the title screen theme, you've got Studiopolis, Mirage Saloon, the theme of the Hard-Boiled Heavies, and everything else. So you're not going to get Flying Battery, Green Hill Zone, or Chemical Plant on here, which is a shame, but I kind of understand why they did it. I'm surprised they didn't do that actually on a second disc, because this is only a single disc, and you've got a really nice bit of artwork there across the spread. And of course, we take out the disc sleeve. So we got the boys on the front there, and on the back we got the Hard-Boiled Heavies. And the disc itself is actually pretty neat. I do like the fact that it labels side 1 as Act 1 and side 2 as Act 2. And that's a really reflective disc. So yeah, that's Sonic Mania vinyl. Pretty good. I think that only cost me 20 quid as well. Then again, vinyl has always been expensive, so yeah, that's that. Right, next up, guys, the last thing I've got to show you. Now, those of you who follow me on Twitter pretty much know what I'm about to show off, because I've just not shut up about it. But I've got myself a brand new Nintendo console. Oh yes. And here it is. Da-da-da-da. Now I know what you guys are thinking, I've already got a Wii, and yes, you are correct, but this is a Japanese Wii. You can just have a look at the side of the box there. You guys can probably make out all the Japanese text and what have you. Yeah, I've been meaning to get a Japanese Wii for the longest time, but never really got round to it. And of course, what the 10th anniversary of the Wii last year. So it's quite funny that I actually buy this on the 11th year of the Wii. But with the impending closure of the Wii Shop channel, I thought to myself, well, that's got to be one reason why I need to get a Japanese Wii, because there's so many Japanese exclusive Virtual Console games. Okay, fair enough, yes, I can emulate a lot of the games anyway, but yeah, I'd rather buy them, you know, support and all that. So yeah, I've already done quite a shopping spree on the Japanese shopping channel already. So there we go. So as you can see, it's got all the usual bits and pieces in it. Got the stand, sensor bar, cable, nunchuck, and of course the all the documentation, which includes the funny pictures of not smacking people in the face with your nunchuck and not sticking 4-leaf clovers into the back of your Wii. So yeah, it's definitely got all them in there. And of course, it's got the Wii unit, which would be there. In fact, it's actually playing Super Hang-On right now, because this is part of the Virtual Console arcade selection, which is much larger than what we've got over here in Europe at the least. And of course, we've got the Japanese power supply, which is currently not powering the Wii. One thing that I learned. Those of you in the UK may be familiar with the now defunct magazine Endgamer. They did a series of DVDs, and one of them, Mark Green, the then editor of Endgamer, he pretty much highlighted the fact that you can power a Japanese Wii with a UK power supply, which is, well, pretty evident right now, because obviously the Wii doesn't need that much electricity, so yeah, you can power both the Japanese and the European Wii with the UK power supply, and it won't blow up like a lot of electronics probably would if you fed too much voltage into them. So yeah, guys, that's that. Yeah, I mean, the Wii didn't cost me, you know, that much. Not really. I think it only cost me about 50 quid. And I've seen Japanese Wiis online, not just on eBay, but on other online shops as well, and they still go for a premium. I'm like, fuck that! So I saw this Wii on eBay for sort of 50 quid, and I was like, I've got to have a shop round first, find out if I can find it any cheaper, and I probably can, I don't know, but 50 quid seemed very reasonable for me. So yeah, I snapped it up, and it arrived a few days later, and I'm having a lot of fun with it at the moment. So I may demonstrate some of the Japanese Virtual Console games at a later date, but yeah, until then, that's everything. So until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take care of yourselves.